Grand Rising, y'all. It is me, Spirit TV, and welcome back to my channel. Um, I woke up this morning and I've been thinking about getting back on here and filming for a while, but I just didn't know how I was going to go about doing it. So I had filmed a clean with me video last weekend, because today is currently Saturday, December the 12th, 2020. So 12/12/2020. Um, so of course, as y'all already know, sometimes I lose clips, sometimes I lose audio. Well, I lost a major clip that I needed for that video. So I decided, all right, we're going to scrap it. So to get me back into the swing of things, I said I was going to post quite a few story times just because I know that story times are easy for me. I can run through it, tell the story, get it posted, get it up, and get me back used to filming. So this video is going to be about the first and only time that I went to Houston, Texas. I was 20 years old and I was living in Lafayette, Louisiana at the time, which is a whole nother story. Because if you know me, you know that I'm from Tennessee and you know that my mom lives in Alabama. So that's a whole nother story time, which I'll probably do later. But anyways, back to the story. I was 20, little young tenderoni out here, no kids, no responsibility, no job, no nothing. So I was just really thugging, for real, for real. I had a couple of friends, and one of my friends had to be home. He was actually visiting family in Louisiana, but he lived in Houston, Texas, and he had to be home because he was starting a new job. It was the end of the summertime. Um, he wasn't in school or anything like that. The only person that was in school was me. So he wasn't in school or anything like that. But he had to be home to start this job, and it was a really good job. So, you know, summertime's coming to an end. Everybody's going back to reality. So he was supposed to be leaving the next day, and come to find out, his ride flaked on him. So he ended up calling his mom, and his mom was like, well, I'll give, since I was the only one that had a car. His mom was like, well, tell your friend I'll give her $200 if she brings you home. So me with no job, 20 years old, no money, thinking $20 is like stacks on stacks on stacks. I was like, yeah, I'll take you home. 200, hell yeah, I'll take you home. So we went to Walmart and I picked up my $200. I filled up my gas tank. I put the rest of it back in the bank because I was good for hanging on to money. I don't know what happened, but I was real good for hanging on to money back then. So we went to Walmart and I picked up my money, like I said, filled up the gas tank. We were chilling at the house, and the next day we knew we had to get up because there were supposed to be 4 riders. I was the driver. He was the we're going to call him Q, the guy I was taking home. Q was the passenger, and we're going to give the real names for the other 2 because I don't fuck with them no more. And one of them is my baby daddy, so, and I ain't talked to him in years, so fuck him. Courtney and Marcus. Courtney was Q's in-between boyfriend, and Marcus was my baby daddy. The very next day, we all woke up. Marcus ended up being called into work, so he couldn't go. Courtney's uncle had discovered some shiesty-ass shit that he had done, so his trip got canceled too. So it was just gonna be me and Q. Now, Q smoked weed. Hella weed. Q always had weed on him. Keep that in mind, that Q always had weed on him because it's gonna pop up later on in the story. Now, how much weed Q kept on him, I wasn't aware of at the time. I literally had just started smoking cigarettes 2 weeks prior to this trip. So I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't a drinker. I didn't pop no pills. I wasn't on any of the time that all my friends were on. So we shoot out. And it is Friday because he had to be there by Monday. So we shot out the weekend. That way we could turn up and stuff like that. Whew, Lord. And that's where everything goes south. So we're on the highway. We make it there. It was like from where we were at, it was like a 3.5 hour drive. We shot out, we got there, we got settled. We got all our clothes and stuff, where they were supposed to be. We ended up staying at his mom's condo. That way I wouldn't have to get a hotel or anything like that. We ate good. We actually had a seafood boil the day that we got there. They were drinking. It was all his family and stuff, a couple of his friends. We went to a nightclub, which was a gay club, because whenever I lived in Louisiana, I didn't have any friends. I just had my baby daddy. So when I started making friends, I ran into a lot of gays. And the gays gave me life. The gays accepted me. They were always nice to me. They took care of me. They protected me, all that. So I was always with the gays. We went to a gay nightclub called Quest. It was bomb. I had a good time. We came back to the house and everybody was asleep. So we were just still out in the streets. We rode around. They were smoking weed in my car. I'm a dumbass. I know. We was riding around the city. They were smoking weed. We had all the windows down. We kept on passing police, kept on passing state troopers and stuff. But, I'm living my best life, 20 years old, thinking, ain't shit gonna happen to me, whatever. We had picked up a few of his friends, and we was just having a blast. So, before we went to the house, Q had picked up some weed. Of course, I didn't go inside because I'm not too familiar with Houston. This is my first time ever going. And also keep this in mind. I'm from Tennessee. My car had an Alabama tag, and my license was an Alabama license. But I'm in Houston, Texas. Keep that in mind. So he goes and gets some weed. At this time, he was sloppy drunk. Q was bisexual. And he was like sloppy drunk. I could hear money fall because he was in the front passenger seat. I could hear money falling out of his pockets, and keep that in mind. I heard a lot of stuff falling out of his pockets. So we pulled back up to his mom's condo or whatever, and we're talking and stuff like that. And he was talking about he wanted a girlfriend, yada, 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 whatever. I'm sitting up here thinking like, okay, he's coming on to me. But I don't like niggas that like dick. So that conversation got deaded very quickly. That's still my nigga. But that conversation got deaded so quick. So anyways, I helped Q get his drunk ass up the stairs into his mom's house. And he ended up passing out on the couch. The next day, I wake up because it's Sunday, and now it's time for me to get back on the road to Louisiana, where technically I belong at. Ooh, child. Now, packing up the car, I had seen some change on the floor. So I just seen the change on the floorboard of my car on the passenger side. So I'm like, ooh, Q done left some change or whatever. I'm finna get this change. I could use this change to wash my car. I could use this change for whatever. So I picked up the change, not thinking, hey, remember he dropped a bunch of shit out of his pocket. You need to check up under the seat to see what else he dropped. and the change didn't make it click for me. So I was like, all right, whatever, loaded up my car like the little naive ass I was. Loaded up my car, got my stuff. I went to the gas station. I filled up my tank again, and I got me some coffee. I had some cigarettes in my car that I did not smoke. And I didn't get any at the gas station. So I started off my trip on Highway 90, and I had my coffee. And at that time, I liked smoking a cigarette with my coffee. So I had lit one of those cigarettes, and I had, puffed it a little bit or whatever. And I just didn't like it. I did not like it at all. Now, traffic was extremely heavy, and I realized I'm on the wrong side of the road. So I'm in my wrong lane. So I need to switch lanes. So there was a very big gap, and I switched lanes. Out of nowhere, a state trooper gets in behind me, and he's speeding up on my ass. So I switch lanes again. Now, I ain't use a blinker neither time I switched lanes. That was my first mistake. Well, that was my second mistake. First mistake wasn't checking up under that damn passenger seat. Second mistake was I did not use a blinker. My third mistake was, bitch, you should have got on the road at 6 o'clock in the morning like you said. Now, I was supposed to be on the road at 6 o'clock in the morning. I ended up not getting on the road until 9 o'clock in the morning because I overslept. Soon as I left his mama's condo, shit went bad so fast. It went bad so fast. And there was nobody I could call. I was 20 years old. Like I said, no record. I'm in the state of Texas, and I'm originally from Tennessee. But everything that I'm with right now is tying me back to Alabama, which is suspect. And of course, I got pulled over. So I got pulled over for improper lane change. And the police were like, hey, can I have your, driver's license and insurance and stuff like that? So I gave it to him because everything is current. And he was like, why are you in Texas and everything that you have is in Alabama? And I said, well, actually, I live in Louisiana. I live with my boyfriend and his folks. I was in the military, and I just got out the military because at this time I had been about 8 months out of the Air Force. So I had just got out the military, and I was just taking a friend home. I still had the receipt from Walmart when I picked up the $200 from his mom. I had the message on the receipt that said thank you or whatever for bringing my son home. I had all that proof. And he was like, can I search your car? And I don't trust the police. I look like I look now because I don't age for some reason. And this was 10 years ago. So I was like, no, like I didn't trust him. I didn't trust the police. I was not fucking with that shit. Hell no, you can't search my car. I don't want you detaining me no longer than you have to. I haven't done anything wrong except for not using a blinker. Write my ticket so I can get on about my business. This was my thought process. So I told him, no, I don't want you searching my car. No, you cannot search my car. I haven't done anything wrong. Am I being detained? And he said, do you have anything illegal in your car? I said, no. All I have are my suitcases with my clothes in it and my shoes in it, because I stayed here all weekend, and that's it. I brought my friend home, and now I'm going home. That's it. Child, he wasn't hearing that shit. He called for backup. Backup, besides him, was a sheriff and 3 other Houston squad cars and a K9 unit. This happened, and I didn't know. This is why people really need to learn their rights and stuff like that, learn the laws and stuff like that. I didn't know that he literally only had 30 minutes to technically only had 30 minutes to get all the people here that he needed here before I was lawfully able to leave. I sat there for 2 hours. He had called a judge, got a subpoena to search my vehicle. He called a K-9 unit. He called backup. In 2 hours, squad was on my ass. I was placed in handcuffs. I was handcuffed to the front of the officer who stopped me. I was handcuffed to the front of his SUV. He had me standing in an ant pile, and them ants was eating my ass up. I would not stop moving because them ants was eating my ass up. They were stripping my car. When the dog came out, the dog kept trying to get to me, and by this time, I'm screaming. Like, these ants are crawling up my legs. Get me out of this ant pile. This is not right. Why are you doing this to me? I haven't done anything wrong. To which he responds, and he uncuffs me from the front of his SUV, and he puts me in the front seat of the squad car. So as I'm watching these people tear my car apart, they threw my clothes out of my suitcase. They threw everything on the highway. They ripped out the interior of my doors. They were ripping up my trunk. They had took my license plate off my car. They were doing the most. So y'all remember Q was sitting on the passenger seat, right? They found 8 1-gram baggies of weed. And right then, I knew it was over. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Me being nice, trying to take someone home when I didn't have to. And now I'm getting caught up. So the officer came back or whatever. And he was like, we found 8 grams of weed in your car. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they was like, it's under the passenger seat. And I said, the passenger seat? What are you talking about? And they was like, we found some change and we found 8 little baggies of weed under your seat. So I'm thinking in my head, damn, I'm in Houston, Texas from Tennessee. Everything is registered to Alabama. Registered to me, but it's registered to Alabama. I'm going to jail in Houston. So he ran my information or whatever, my driver's license number and stuff like that. And come to find out, of course, I didn't have a record because I wasn't that type of girl. So he ended up saying, you know, if I take you to the county, you're going to be there at least 90 days. You don't have a record. But I do feel bad for you. As soon as he said, I feel bad for you, I'm in handcuffs with my hands handcuffed behind my back. Why is this man rubbing on my thigh? Rubbing on my thighs. Getting up close to, like, the buckle of my pants. I'm ready to fucking cry. At this point, I'm thinking, shit, I might not go to jail, but this police officer finna make me have sex with him. Like, I'm just panicking. I am panicking. And I have been sexually assaulted before. 3 times, actually. And it brought me all the way back. I was panicking, thinking in my head, please stop touching me. Just let me go. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything wrong. Just freaking out. So I guess he kind of caught the drift of what was going on. I looked up. I seen them putting my car and stuff back together. He got something on the radio. And they said that, you know, everything was fine. And he let me go. He wrote me a fat ass ticket. And he just told me to be careful. When I tell you I shot out after I got back in my car, I was so shook. I swallowed 2 cigarettes. I swallowed 2 cigarettes within like 5 minutes. I was so fucking shook. I was crying and shit. And then guess what happened? Wheel. the fucking lights, they hit me again. And I'm like, damn, I'm finna go to jail. Like, it was like my emotions was on a roller coaster. Like, I just did not know what the fuck to do. And so I pulled over again, like, fuck, they finna take me to jail this time. And he didn't. They had forgot to put my license plate back on the back of my car. So they put my license plate back on the back of my car. When I tell you that 3.5 hour trip took me every bit of like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I booked it home. I booked it home. And I didn't tell anybody. I ain't tell nobody what happened. I mean, but y'all, I ain't tell nobody. This is literally the first time I'm telling this story to anybody. Besides Q, because I did call Q as soon as I made it back to Lafayette. I was like, you got me fucked up, and you're paying this ticket, because the ticket was due the day of my 21st birthday, September 4th. It was due the day of my 21st birthday, and they said that if that money was not paid, that they was coming to get my ass, and I was gonna do at least 6 to 9 months in the county. It just, man, when I tell y'all, it blew my fucking mind. And he sent me the money too. He sent me the money. He didn't send me all of it. My baby daddy had ended up paying the rest of it, but he sent me the money to pay that shit. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, I know it's a lot of people that look at me like just this goofy, funny ass, friendly ass, nothing ever happens to her chick or whatever, but that's not the case. I done been through a lot of shit, and y'all finna find out. I'm probably gonna film another story time. I am gonna film another story time today. Telling on myself. But I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. Case in point, if you're gonna do something for somebody, know what you're getting yourself into. Make sure that you are aware. Make sure you're being cautious. Don't do no stupid ass shit like what I did. I know that we all be young and dumb and full of cum, but it's a time in all of our lives when we know that shit don't be right and we just go with it anyway. Why? I don't know. But that is the end of this story time. And until next time, when you let folks ride with you, make sure they get all their shit out your car, because you'll be fucked up. Peace out.